So there was no permission that was sought from the ministry. That's very clear. And actually, within the ministry, there is no consensus because somebody is saying that it is an advertising platform. Somebody is saying it's a news channel, news service. Somebody is saying it's a web service. It's the content is being sourced from BJP via internet. Okay. So let me make this very clear. Permissions are given in two categories. That's news and non-news. And there's no third category. When you talk about sourcing our content from say, a particular source, the source doesn't matter. Whenever anything goes on a DTH platform, it has to have a license. That's very clear. Okay? So in case it does not have a license, in case a content is, say, being sourced from any particular source from via the internet, in that case, it can go on a web streaming platform. That's like Netflix, for example.
Okay.
For example, Hotstar. Okay, so it can pretty much go via if it is taken from the internet, it has to be streamed on a web streaming platform. It can be a YouTube channel, it can be an OTT platform, but it cannot be a DTH platform because DTH platform involves uplinking and downlinking, and for that one needs a license.
Okay, Amrita, you raised a very interesting point, and I would request you to just stay on with us. Let me also, just explain this to our viewers. The fact is that if you are broadcasting a channel, you need a series of permissions from our government. So before you get a license to start a channel, you will have to get a security clearance from the Home Ministry. You will also have to get a clearance from the Department of Space, and then there are a lot of criteria of what your overall net worth should be, at least 20 crore, and if you meet all of those very detailed criteria, then the ministry can decide to give you a license. Now, what Amrita is pointing out here is that from her sources that license has not been given to NamoTV. What's the other method? The other method is that you need this license and you need this permission if you are uplinking or downlinking any kind of channel in our country. Even if you're an international channel and you want to bring it to our DTH platforms in India, you will need the government's permission and license. If you are an Indian channel, then to uplink it and then to downlink it to the DTH platform and the antenna at home, you will need the government's permission, and that has to be renewed every few years. So if you are not doing that, is there any other possible method that NamoTV could have used, which is what Amrita was also referring to? And I want to bring in Mr. M.K. Venu on that aspect. Mr. Venu, because you've also been, looking into this whole aspect. And there was a very interesting TRAI paper a few years ago that spoke about using fiber optics and then beaming, any kind of content to people, pretty much the way internet works on a bandwidth. Is that something that could be a way that they're using, which is a loophole and so perfectly legal?
Yeah, in fact, this morning I had a long chat with the former TRAI chairman Rahul Khullar, who in fact brought out a paper, TRAI consultation paper, where he actually elaborated on this problem, and Mr. Khullar clearly pointed out that there are two types of channels that were operating. One, of course, are news channels which uplink and downlink, and for that they are channels which take permission for uplinking, downlinking facility from the INB ministry. They have to take permissions. So today, if you look at the INB Ministry website, there are about 847 channels which have taken INB permission for uplinking and downlinking. But interestingly, today there are some several 30,000 channels which operate at a local level, which do not need to, that's the loophole, which do not take any permission from INB Ministry, no licensing. All they have to do is go to the nearest post office, pay 500 rupees, get a registration, and through the local optics fiber network, they deliver content, like somebody said, internet content. So, so here, that is what seems to be happening. Although they are on a DTH platform, but Tata's also have their optics fiber network. So Tata is actually characterizing this as something that has been pushed through their optics fiber network, and so is the. There are many others who are doing this. There are many. You have to check. This must be going countrywide. You know, there are many cable operators must be doing this. So we have to now first establish what is the nature of this delivery, this service.
Correct.
Now, the Tata Sky is saying that it is not a new service; it's an advertising platform. But the Election Commission has asked INB Ministry. Now, it is the INB Ministry which has to now give its verdict on whether this should be characterized as a news offering, or is it an advertising offering. I don't think that the INB Ministry should ask Tata Sky. Tata Sky will not be able to. It will obviously try to fudge, because Tata Sky doesn't have the courage to speak the truth on this. You know, it is the INB Ministry which will have to actually clearly say whether the content is in the nature of news or advertisement. And the other issue is, of course, the delivery mode. I think on the delivery mode there's a loophole. I don't think there's anything illegal about that. But definitely the INB Ministry will have to take a call on whether this is a news current affairs offering or it's an advertising platform.
No, in fact, that's so that is where the INB Ministry will have to focus, and perhaps they need the DTH guys and Tata Sky to tell them just how are you bringing it to the people's homes. Is it getting uplinked and downlinked at some point, or is it on some optics cable? But if it's on a DTH platform, like Amrita was saying, there is a gray area there whether or not you can use that platform with a fiber optic or an internet kind of a sourcing. So that is one aspect. Mr. Bharat Kumar Raut, you heard everybody's views. Where do you stand on this controversy? Do you suspect that there is a violation here?
Yes, as you said it, there is more confusion than clarity on the whole issue. As everybody has said, I just wanted to say that I live in Mumbai, as you are here. There are cable channels, local channels, they are in every lane of the city. Do they take any permission? If they don't take any permission, it means permission per se is not obligatory. You can get away from that also. Here, since as per my understanding, there are three types of channel. One, free-to-air satellite channels, pay channels, that's also free through the satellite, and third one is D2H channels. I think this, if you make the three separate categories, and if you put this channel in question, NamoTV, in D2H, will need to seek clarification from the ministry whether the same license policies apply for this also, or there is a separate policy or no policy. If there is no policy, NamoTV has taken advantage of that and they have gone like a cable channel. So in that case, whether it is advertising or news, that is a different issue. If it is a cable channel, or it goes on like a cable TV, then I don't think as of now it requires any type of permission, and you have done that, then that is fine. But however, after saying this, I wish to say that the nation is run on legal laws and moral principles. If in legal law, yes, perhaps the BJP's NamoTV would get scot-free because of the loopholes in the law. But what happens to the morality? In morality, do you run this type of channel without a proper permission? I am not getting into code of conduct. Code of conduct is a different thing. It's a model code of conduct. It is not law. But can BJP get into this type of area where permission is not sought, and you are straight away propaganding a political party and particular leader without mentioning that it is a news channel or current affairs channel or entertainment channel? How can you have only advertising channel, and that too only on DTH? Even it is so, I think it is morally not correct in a set of democracy. So legally they could be right, but morally they are not.
Okay, so there's this distinction that Mr. Raut is making. Legally, they may be right, or they may be a loophole that they could use, but ethically speaking and morally speaking, that is not right. Now, I just want to point out the fact that this whole controversy about whether it's a Hindi news channel or an ad channel, and that also makes it a bit of a difference, because for news channels the criteria, the permissions needed is different than for ad channels that are used. Now, earlier in the day, in response to one of the users who was tweeting about getting NamoTV, Tata Sky's Twitter handle responded back saying that it is a Hindi news service. Later in the evening, there was a clarification, and many media outlets have quoted the CEO, Harit Nagpal himself, saying that no, it's not a Hindi news service, it's an ad service. So there is a lot of confusion over there, although right now what the channel seems to be running is primarily speeches of the Prime Minister, his rallies, speeches of other BJP leaders. In fact, just a short while ago, it was Amit Shah's speech that was being aired on that channel. That's largely what we've seen since this channel started in the last few days. But Vivek Reddy, I have a question for you. You say you don't have any information on who the owner is, and it's not the BJP. Then how is it that just as the channel launched, the whole machinery of the BJP was quick to endorse it, and you all started tweeting about it, saying, oh, this is an awesome TV, you must watch it, from your ministers to your your Twitter handles of the party and BJP spokesperson, everybody is been busy endorsing it from day one. Now, if you don't know who started the channel and what it is about, then how are you endorsing it?
Well, Tanvi, as I said, the original principle that, there is freedom and there is importance of people to know. These are two important things in democracy. And these cannot be, these have to be, nourished. These have to be, these are cherished ideals of a democracy. That is, people must know what exactly is the leader. And to that end, even the election laws are tuned, are tailor-made. They ensure that there is enough propagation of ideas, enough propagation of work done, enough propagation of the vision of the leader. In view of this, if the BJP leaders have also said that, look here, this is where we get the ideas and the speeches of Narendra Modi.
What they're going to run?
I don't think there should be any difficulty with that, because that is what is encouraged in democracy.
But how did you know what NamoTV is going to show? How do you know what NamoTV is going to show tomorrow? Who told you about that? Did NamoTV owner send you some details about what this channel is?
It has been launched on March 31st.
Correct.
It has been launched on March 31st.
And already you are totally, in awe of how awesome it is.
They may have stated. Well, why not? The whole nation is in awe of Narendra Modi.
Nobody knows.
Nobody. Narendra Modi. The whole nation is in awe of Narendra Modi.
But there is no confirmation on the ownership. No, of course, I am not questioning whether or not you like Prime Minister's speeches or Amit Shah's speeches. I am asking you, how do you know what NamoTV is going to be running? And if you think it is safe enough to endorse it without knowing the owner, what if the owner turns out to be a criminal tomorrow? What if the owner turns out to be a terrorist tomorrow? The owner can be anybody, because you are telling me you don't know the owner.
Suppose Mirror Now.
What if the owner turns out to be Mirror Now tomorrow?
Suppose Mirror Now.
How are you endorsing it without knowing the details?
No, hold on. Suppose Mirror Now. Suppose Mirror Now broadcasts the speech of the Prime Minister in a certain place in India, in an election rally, and a BJP leader tweets that, look here, there is a speech that is being covered in Mirror Now. What is wrong? That is apparently what is happening here.
Correct.
And suppose other channels have not caught it, only Mirror Now has been able to reach that place. And what is wrong in they saying that, look here, the speech of Narendra Modi is coming, please watch it. This is informative. What I am telling is the content is positive.
No, you're not getting my point.
About this nation.
It's not about to say why is NamoTV or Mirror Now or any other channel showing the Prime Minister's speech.
No, assuming that NamoTV is propagating the speeches of Narendra Modi. It is also bringing to the doors of the citizens of this country about Narendra Modi's work. What is wrong? This is what happens during an election.
Okay.
What else happens during an election? You have to propagate
On
these
that
ideas during the
aspect,
election.
I don't
Why
have
is
any
the
problems.
so
Congress
pissed off?
has
Why is it running
problems.
away?
Mr. Reddy, my question
Why
to you
can't
was
the
very
Congress,
clear.
why can't the Congress propagate its own ideas and achievements?
How do you
But there are
endorse
only wrong things that the Congress
something
has done for this country. It
where
has
you
nothing to
don't know the
propagate.
credibility of the owner? How is BJP so
be,
easily giving its backing and support to somebody where you claim you don't know the owners? Mr. M.K. Venugopal wanted to come in between, and then I'll go to Sulaiman Khan. But yes, Mr. M.K. Venugopal.
Yeah, you know, yeah, you know, I want to say something. You know, it is really, morally speaking, as somebody said, it is bad optics for the country's prime minister to be using some gray area to launch a TV channel like this, Namo. And you know, there is this branding also. Normally, Tata Sky does not allow in its, even if it is in the active services domain, say advertising, they don't allow the branding, branding with the logo of any other third party. But here Tata Sky has allowed that also. Maybe they were coerced into doing that. So it's number one, it's bad optics, and number two, it'll be for me, it'll be very interesting to see if tomorrow Mayawati or Akhilesh Yadav or somebody else, Kejriwal, goes and tells Tata Sky that, okay, we also have content through internet, we want to drive as part of so-called advertising services, which is actually news current affairs service. So why should the Prime Minister play on this gray, you know, on this gray area
Why not, Mr.
unnecessarily?
Venu? Let Mayawati go, let Akhilesh go, let everybody go.
Really bad,
What is wrong?
really bad optics. Really
Let them
bad
make
optics.
similar applications.
But it won't happen.
And what
No,
is
they
so
won't be
wrong
allowed.
about
That's
it?
what I'm saying.
Is it wrong to
Okay.
reach the citizen with
No,
your
but
performance?
yeah, no, you're right.
What is so
I want.
moral about it? I think the morality part of
No,
it
everybody
is
should.
two-sided.
Everybody.
It is also moral to reach the voter, and there is a earnest
No,
reaching
Mr.
out
Reddy,
to the
you are
voter,
again missing
which
the
is
point.
promoted in a democracy.
Neither
wrong
me
in that?
nor Mr. M.K. Venugopal were saying it is immoral
I'm not
or
wasting the time. I'm
unethical to
answering his moral
show
question.
the Prime Minister's speech. You're missing the point here. What we are asking is, and what he was pointing out is, it's the way it is being done.
What is wrong?
If you are using a loophole
why is
in a
everybody afraid of the
policy,
Prime Minister's speech?
if you are using a loophole in the policy, that's not the right way to go about it.
I
Is
don't,
what
I
he's
don't
saying.
want my
It's
Prime Minister to
legal.
use a loophole, you know.
It is-
Correct.
it is not
Okay.
a loophole, it is
Sulaiman Khan
perfectly
wants to
legal.
come in. And may I just also point out, because the whole debate
It
is
is
whether
not a
it's a Hindi
loophole,
news
it is
service
perfectly legal.
or it's an ad service, as Tata Sky now claims. Now, you know, and most users and viewers now have DTH services, and you know how it works. You have a bunch of entertainment channels, and then you have a bunch of sports channels, and then you have the entire Hindi news channel bunch and the English news channel bunch, and largely it's all categorized like that, and then you have the movies channel bunch. Now, I just went through where it is positioned to try and understand if that gives us a hint of if it's a news channel or not. 5110 on Tata Sky is Tata Sky Family Health, which is obviously a promotional channel. And then 511 is Z News. And then 512 is NamoTV. Then 513 is Sports Mania. And 514 is India TV. So it's a mixture of some ad channels there and news channels there, which again leaves it very open-ended and grey. Sulaiman Khan, to you, and I have a question as you make your point. After that, you can answer my question. Why is it a problem for Congress Party? Does Congress Party or its politicians not have a stake in media organizations yourself? Why should it be a problem if BJP owns Namo TV?
No, yeah, I'll reply to that. But first, to start with Mr. M.K. Venu. Mr. M.K. Venu, with due respect, you have been kind by saying that it's not morally correct for the Prime Minister. I must use for Mr. Narendra Modi, who is actually the Prime Minister of the country, to use a loophole or a grey area in some guidelines or law to launch this channel. Mr. Venu, we all have seen the way the Prime Minister has taken the discourse to such depths and the discourse have been so low for 5 years that it doesn't
Mr.
surprise
Sulaiman
me
Khan,
at all.
I think
At
that
all. So you
that
have been
works
kind. We have seen how
both
he's been
ways. It
speaking
works
about
for
the
all
adversaries.
political parties. So
That is
let's
not
not
the issue.
sit here and single out one person, whether it's the Prime Minister or any party chief.
Yeah.
Let's stick to the point, please, and let's talk about why Congress has an issue with this channel and the way it has been done, and why
I'll
should you
just,
have an issue when there
as
is
a
a
Prime
Vasant
Minister,
TV,
no Prime Minister
National
has done this.
Herald, and so
Political
many other
leader
media
could have done.
organizations that Congress is linked to?
No, I am saying political leaders could have said something different of political parties, but Prime Minister had always maintained a grace and spoken with dignity. Leave this apart. I was just applying a short point to Mr. Venu's comments. What BJP spokesperson saying that they are propagating ideas, they are propagating free speech. He said they doesn't have any details on funding, on ownership. We have nothing. The Namo app is linked to NamoTV. The Namo app's developers addresses has no detail, but it was the owners, they have no detail of the owner, but the address is BJP headquarter. They have no details. Actually, there is a dispute about the licensing thing, and it's been promoted. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is promoting Namo TV, and Namo TV is promoting the Prime Minister. We have no problem. It can be done. It has to be done as per the law. And if it is a channel which is propagating and advertising a political party or a political figure of a political party, then the Election Commission and Model Code of Conduct also says that all the funding or the expenditure, if it's a BJP channel, it has to be reflected in the expenses of the political party. There is no clarity on this.
Yeah.
As far as Congress party's channels are concerned, we have people who are connected with the Congress, with the channels in which people from the Congress party, it's very clear. There is no controversy. We are completely with the issue that speech and expression should have the freedom. Everyone can propagate. We have no problem. Rather,
How
BJP
is it
is
very
scared
different?
Scared with a glaring
one-
defeat
Okay,
on their face.
Vivek Reddy will
that they are
respond to
doing
that,
all
but
such
how is it
type of
different? What do you
things.
mean there is no controversy where Congress or Congress leaders are linked or have ownership in certain media organizations? How is that okay and this is not?
No, I have not said that there is a controversy. I am saying there may be people from the Congress party who may have stakes in some channels.
Yes.
As on today, I am saying that this channel has been promoted by the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister is being promoted by this channel. But nobody is the owner.
So your
BJP
problem
not
is
the
that
owner. There is no clarity on the funding.
So
And
do you think that Sun
propagating the
TV
Prime
should
Minister
not
and the
promote
political party.
any of the DMK
Tanvi, I
leaders
have
or
just one
should
question.
not promote Stalin? Do you think you should not be in an alliance with DMK over it?
They have declared
Where are
it.
you stopping it?
Sun
Correct.
TV must.
So your problem is only declaration.
No, I'm saying. Yeah, you have to declare it.
Can I
That's
just
what I'm
TRTV
saying.
has a
BJP
license,
should
yeah.
declare that it's our channel.
Okay.
We are funding it. That's what has to be done.
Okay, so that's as far as Congress's stand is concerned. Of course, there are larger issues there, whether or not they have a license and do they need a license for what they are doing, which is what the INB ministry has to decide. 30 seconds to you, Vivek
Yes.
Reddy, and then I will go across to Bharat Kumar Raut.
Yeah. Yes. I just like to ask one question. It's very interesting in this scenario. DMK has the Sun TV. Jayalalitha had Jaya TV. And there are various regional states where each of them, Mr. Kumar Swamy owns Kasturi channel in Karnataka. And various politicians own, of various hues own channels in Andhra and in various other states. Now, do you mean to say that as soon as the model code of conduct swings in, these channels are dropped off and they don't propagate? They are named in the names of these political leaders, Jaya TV.
No.
And nothing happens during the model code of conduct. They continue beaming the content. Earlier, the model code of conduct has been silent on this issue and it has allowed beaming of content because the salutary principle was that freedom of speech and expression, so long as you don't violate the model code of conduct by ranting negatively against the opposite party, by throwing scorn and venom, it is fine. This is allowed to be propagated. That has been the history. And there is no some sort of a morality here. Why the double standards, Mr. Sulaiman and Mr. Venu? Because it is moral for them. It was very much moral for them. It was immoral for BJP.
No.
This is all on the ground of free speech, that it is justifiable.
Can I
This
answer
is
this?
what happens during elections or non-election period. You are allowed to propagate ideas.
No, no,
and it is on that basis. So stop saying. 1 second, I'll
Mr.
just
Reddy,
complete. 1 second. We can't look at, hyper technical glitches.
Okay, you complete.
And say, look here, did you have did you have that, did you have this, you're using a loophole, the Prime Minister should not use a loophole. Well, all political parties of all hues in India have had their own channels, sir, and they have propagated their ideas through their own channels. It is now wrong only for Mr. Narendra Modi to do it.
Okay.
I think that is double standards, and that is not acceptable. We have to stick to one standard that we have been doing all these years.
Can I answer this? Can I?
Okay, I will ask Mr. Sulaiman Khan if he wants to respond, and then
can I just one line answer?
And then I will come to you, Mr. Venu. Let me just ask Sulaiman Khan if he wants to respond to that, since it's a direct hit at Congress.
No, I am not saying, I am not at all, or the Congress party is not saying don't have your channels which are propagating your ideas or your ideology. There is no, there's no doubt about it. But do it fairly.
Okay.
Declare it, it's your channel. It's been funded by the BJP. It is a BJP channel. It has a valid legal permissions which are required. Declare it. Why it has been launched in such suspicion? Nobody knew. And then the Prime Minister is, marketing this channel, and the channel is marketing the Prime Minister.
Okay.
And there is a sequence to it during the election.
Well, I just want to also point out,
boarding passes, the hoarding in the petrol pumps, the air tickets. There's a lot of things. Therefore, I am saying the whole machinery is there to help one person in one party.
okay, yes, Mr. Venugopal.
Yeah, listen, I'm merely on the question of transparency.
Yes.
JR TV, those TV channels are clearly licensed channels. The ownership structure is known. At least here, nobody knows who the owners are. We know that BJP is paying Tata Sky and others. Can we have some transparency on what is the structure and how much money is being spent in the context of election spending? Election Commission is also monitoring election spending, and the kind of branding that Mr. Modi has on the channel. I don't think any other entity has been allowed that kind of branding on the television, on the channell, and that should also be monetized. I mean, if you put a value to it, it'll have a huge value. So we just want to know exactly what is going on. That's it. Yeah.